Okay, boys and girls, this lesson is Factors 2A, and let's take a look at what's needed. You need, from your Factors and Multiples packet, you need page 7. It looks like this. And you need to have it open and ready right now. And then you also need your whiteboard stuff because you're going to do a couple of puzzle questions too. So you need to watch the whole video, answer the questions, some questions in Edpuzzle, and some stuff you'll write in here, and you're going to be checking your own work. Okay, let's see how we do. This would be your independent learning. And the more engaged you are and focused and checking your answers, the more you learn. All right, here we go. Starting on your whiteboard, and you're going to write these answers, these factors into the Edpuzzle. You're going to see if you can get these right. So here is the first question. Now, remember, yesterday we learned what factors were, and they're the numbers you multiply in order to get another number. So when I'm looking for the factors of 10, I think, okay, I've got 1 times 10, right? And 2 times 5. My first question here is 10 odd or even? And we learned the other day that 0 tells us for sure that I look in the ones place, and if that number in the ones place is an even digit, then the whole number is considered even, which means that it can be divided equally into 2 parts. Okay, that's what even means, as we talked about. So when I look at the numbers, ways I can make 10, I see 1 times 10, 2 times 5, and so then I list them like this. 1, 2, from lowest to highest with commas in between. So these are my factors of 10. All right, let's try the next one. Let's go with the number 11. Will you please write on your whiteboard all the ways that you can figure out how to make 11 using multiplication? And determine, is it an odd number? Well, let's do that first. It is an odd number, right? Because if I look in the ones place, I have an odd digit, so the number cannot be evenly divided into 2 piles. Now, factors. Will you please find all the factors of 11 and put your answer into the Edpuzzle? Okay, did you get only 2 factors, 1 and 11? And this, remember, we talked about is a special kind of number. It's a prime number. It has exactly 2 factors, 1 and the number itself. All right, let's go on to the next one. Let's determine, is 9 odd or even? Well, this is an odd number, right? Now, is it going to be a prime number? Be careful. It is not a prime number. It has more than 2 factors. Would you please try to determine the factors and put them into your Edpuzzle answer? Did you get 1, 3, and 9? Because remember, 3 times 3. A lot of people forget the squares of what those are called. Okay, let's do the next one. Odd or even? Okay, we know that 3 is an odd number, right? It can't be divided equally into 2 piles. Find the factors of 3 and then put your answer in. Did you get 1 and 3? That's the prime number. Okay, let's go ahead and clear our board and move on. Okay, prime numbers have exactly 2 factors, 1 in the number itself. So is 1 odd or even, and how many factors does 1 have? Let's think about that one. This is a strange one. Well, we know 1 is odd, right? How many ways can we make 1 using multiplication? 1 times 1 is 1, right? What about 1 times 2? No, it's 2. 1 times 3? No. 1 times 4. 1 times any other number is going to be that number itself, right? So 1 is an interesting number. It only has 1 factor. 1. It doesn't have 2 factors. So it's actually not considered a prime number. Some people think it's a prime, but the definition, it has to have exactly 2 factors. Okay, let's go on to this one. How about this interesting number? What about 0? Now we know 0 is an even number. Let's find the factors of 0. 0 times 0 is 0, right? 0 times 1 is 0. So far I've got 0, 1. 0 times 2 is 0, so 2 is a factor. 0 times 3 is 0, so 3 is a factor. Are you starting to see the problem here? Yes. Any number times 0 is 0. So there's an infinite number of factors. So I'm never going to ask you to write all the factors of 0. That was a trick question. Moving on. We are now on the worksheet. So have that in front of you and get ready to write some definitions. If you're a quick writer, you can move faster. You can stop the video at any time. Let's start with factors are. Factors are the numbers that are multiplied to make another number. Write that on your worksheet. Stop the video if you need to so you can catch up. Be sure you have that. If you can finish quickly, then you can get through the video quicker. Next, prime numbers have exactly 2 factors, 1 and the number itself. Write that down. Stop the video if you need to so that you can get it done, and then we'll move on. All right, now let's do some factoring of some bigger numbers. We did smaller numbers yesterday, so now we got some bigger numbers to work with, and so there's going to be more factors coming in. First of all, let's figure out odds and evens. So we've got, this is an odd number, and this is an even number, right? Because we're looking at the ones place. Boop, boop. Odd, even. Yeah, and this is how numbers go. On and on. The whole numbers, there's odd, even, forever and a day. Every other number can be divided equally into 2 parts. Oops. And so we got that done. Now let's work on factors. So let's do this first one. So we list the factors here. How many ways can I make 17? So I start thinking, let's see. This is my workspace down here. Whoops, 1 times 17 is 17. You always have 1 in the number itself, right? Well, 2, no. 3, no. Yeah, 1 and 17 are the only factors, and that's because it's a prime number. So I'm going to put a P here. All right, you do 18 right now and put your answer into the Edpuzzle. Okay, give it a try. I bet you didn't get them all. Most people first time through don't. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and people always forget in the middle, 3 times 6. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factors of 18. It is definitely not prime. It's what we call a composite number. I'm going to put a C here and we'll talk more about that. Okay, go ahead and do 19. Can you find all the factors of 19? Did you get just 1 and 19? It's prime. All the factors of 20. Do it. Did you get them all? These are hard. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. Yeah, that is definitely not a prime number. It's a composite number. How about 21? I'm going to give you a hint. It's not a prime number. So that means there are more than 2 factors. There's 1 in 21, but there are 2 other ones. Can you find them? Did you get it? 1, 3, 7, and 21. And that is a composite number, not a prime number. 22, it's an even number. I'm going to tell you right now. It's not a prime number. Almost every single even number is not prime. See if you can do that. Did you get 1, 2, 11, 22? Yeah, that 2 times 20 times 11 is in there. And so that's a composite number. All right, good job. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to color the odd numbers lightly with our pencil, and then we're going to circle the prime numbers between here and 20. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. And let's see, 1, hey, 11 is 2, right? Those are prime numbers. 2 and 12 aren't, but look, see how this works? They're right on top of each other because every other number is an odd number. So I'm coloring those lightly. You do that too. And then let's take a look at which numbers are prime numbers. So we know 1 is not a prime number, right? Because it only has 1 factor. 2, we learned, is a prime number. So, because 1 times 2 is the only way you can make it. 3, prime. 4, I'm going to tell you something. Even numbers from here on out, 2's the only even prime. Actually, yes, the only even prime. So go ahead and cross off all the even numbers because that makes it so much easier. Even numbers are not. prime, except for 2. 5 is prime. 7, prime. 9, because 3 times 3, right? So some odd numbers are not prime. 11, prime. 13, prime. 15, not prime, because 3 times 5. 17, prime. And 19, prime. Let's see how many primes we have between 1 and 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, less than half. It was trying to be exactly half. There are less prime numbers than composite numbers between any two certain numbers. Okay, let's see if we're done. We are done. Be sure your whole paper is done. Awesome. Actually, you have to do one more thing. You have to go all the way to the end and say, I finished the video.